As with all of the leadership theories that we have read so far, there are strengths to the theory and there are criticisms of the theory. When it comes to the situational approach, the strengths are that the marketplace and endorsement. Marketplace gives the situational leadership approach a huge endorsement. More than 400 of the Fortune 500 companies have used situational leadership in training programs. Not only that, but it's practical. It's easy to understand, intuitively sensible, and easily applied in a variety of settings. It's also prescriptive. It provides leaders with a valuable set of guidelines that can facilitate and enhance leadership. It also emphasizes flexibility so that effective leaders change style based on goal requirements and the follower's needs, even in the middle of a project. And that's important. That as a leader, you don't just focus solely on one or the other, on just focus on the goal, the bottom line, get it done, or just also focus on just the follower's needs, and regardless of the goal. We have to just take both into account in understanding kind of the situation and which type of leadership style to use. So, and lastly, the strength is that it reminds us to treat each follower differently based on the goal at hand and seek opportunities to help followers learn new skills and become more confident in their work. Basically, it just reminds us to be cool with one another, to be cool, to understand that I mean, each person where they start, they're kind of like you and me. You know, wanting to learn, wanting to grow, excited to get something done, but maybe didn't have the skills or competence yet and just needed someone to kind of help them grow. And us as leaders to just never forget that, to always be pouring into people to be growing them and wanting to see them succeed just as much as you want to succeed and you want to see the organization you're in succeed as well. You want the people in the organization to succeed all together, and that's cool. So the criticisms of this approach are this. The situational approach, it lacks an empirical foundation, which raises theoretical considerations regarding the validity of the approach. So they really haven't found a whole lot of research and stuff that is based that says, yeah, this actually really works. There's actually evidence here that it works. Which brings it to a lack of clarity on how commitment is combined with competence to form 4 distinct levels of development. You might have gathered when you looked at the figure from the title slide that in the development levels you have the D1, it starts with a high commitment, and then the D2 is kind of low commitment, and D3 is has commitment that can fluctuate, and then 4 is high commitment. And so it's kind of weird. How does commitment and competence, of competence is growing, how is the commitment then kind of in flux or lowering or going high and stuff? And so it kind of lacks the clarity. It doesn't really explain how that works. And so there's also a lack of research into the way a follower's commitment is conceptualized, which again kind of goes back and kind of makes sense of going, okay, they kind of see this kind of up and downness of commitment, but how is it conceptualized? How do you really measure it? And they haven't really done that. And then the situational approach does not account for the influence of certain demographic characteristics. So it doesn't account for age, it doesn't account for race, it doesn't even account for culture, different parts of the world and leadership styles and things like that. It doesn't account for that. And so that is definitely a weakness of the model. And lastly, the model fails to adequately address the issues of one-to-one versus group leadership in an organizational setting. So as you kind of maybe saw or heard me talk a lot about, there's one-to-one, maybe the follower on the individual, but you have to also take into account the group. And so the model doesn't specifically say which one you focus on or even how to navigate when to move from the betterment of an individual follower to the betterment of the group and how to manage your leadership style based on the individual, or do you take the group into account first? And so as a leader, you have to kind of figure that out.